Hello, welcome back to my channel, Keen on Clinical. In today's episode, we are going to talk more about the clinical trial design, types of clinical trials, as well as the phases of clinical trials. My name is Lakshman, and I am a seasoned clinical research professional with over a decade of experience in this industry. Whether you're a healthcare professional, a new graduate, or simply curious about how clinical trials work, this channel is right for you. Without further delays, let's get going. Before we unravel the mysteries of the clinical trial industry, I would like to talk a little bit more about myself and the upcoming videos on this channel. I am a clinical research professional with over 10 years experience in this industry, and I am here to document my knowledge and experience to benefit the next generation of researchers. I want to build this channel to act as a gateway that can help you transform your curiosity into a career. My objective is to build a community that can grow and rise together. Let us talk a little bit more about the videos planned on this channel. I am going to continue creating videos on the fundamentals of clinical research, and in this series, informed consenting is going to be the next video. Parallelly, I'm also working on starting a second series which is focused on good clinical practices. This second series should help bring you up to the speed on good clinical practices and how to apply them in your day-to-day work. Now that it's out of our way, let's get this ball rolling. How are clinical trials designed? As we are exploring the intricate process of designing clinical trials, it is very important for us to learn and understand how the clinical trials are structured. Every clinical trial must begin with a clear objective and a hypothesis. The objective defines what the researchers aim to discover or prove. For example, a trial might aim to determine if a new treatment is more efficient than an existing treatment. The hypothesis is a specific testable statement predicting the trial's outcome. For instance, medication A will reduce symptoms of condition X more efficiently than medication B. And this is how we set a stage for the entire study. Next, researchers must choose a study design. And the most popular choices are randomized controlled trials, cohort studies, or case control studies. A randomized control study is a study where participants are assigned to either a treatment group or a control group. This helps eliminate bias and ensure that the groups are comparable. Cohort studies. Researchers observe a group of participants over time to see how different exposures impact outcomes. And next are case control studies. These compare participants with specific conditions to those without the condition to identify potential risk factors. Next up is participant selection. Participant selection is an essential part of clinical trial design. Researchers establish specific inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria to select the participants. Inclusion criteria is a predefined set of rules that might include participants in a specific age group, health conditions, or other factors to align with the objectives of the clinical trial. Exclusion criteria is set to ensure that participants with certain medical conditions or taking a specified set of medications which directly conflict with the integrity of the trial are excluded. This careful selection ensures that the results are valid and are applicable to a target group of population. Determining the sample size is crucial for statistical validity. Researchers calculate how many participants are needed to detect a significant effect, and they consider factors like expected effect size and variability. Once the sample size is determined, randomization is implemented to ensure participants are assigned to different groups. This process minimizes bias and ensures that each group is similar for the knowns and the unknowns. This enhances the reliability of the results. And finally, data collection and analysis. Data in a clinical trial can be gathered through various methods. This includes surveys, medical tests, observations, as well as patient-reported outcomes. Once the data is collected, it undergoes statistical analysis to ensure that the results actually support the hypothesis. This analysis helps researchers draw conclusions and assess the treatment's effectiveness and safety. Next, let's discuss about the types of clinical trials. As discussed in our last video, there are quite a few varieties or types of clinical trials. There are observational trials, interventional trials, diagnostic trials, preventive trials. Understanding these types can help you appreciate how research is conducted in the medical field. Let's start with interventional trials. As the name suggests, interventional trials test new treatments or interventions. Participants receive specific interventions like medicines, devices, or lifestyle changes to evaluate their effects on health outcomes. For example, a trial testing a new drug for diabetes will fall under this category. Secondly, observational trials. In observational trials, researchers observe participants without intervention. This type of trials help identify associations and outcomes in real-world setting. For example, studying the long-term effect of a lifestyle change on your heart health will fall under this category. Next on our list are prevention trials. These trials focus on finding ways to prevent diseases from developing. They may test medications, vaccines, and lifestyle changes. And an example would be a trial assessing new vaccine. Let's move on to diagnostic trials. As the name suggests, these trials aim to find better ways to help diagnose diseases. They may involve testing new diagnostic imaging techniques or biomarkers. For example, a trial might evaluate a new blood test that can help us detect cancers at an early stage. Moving on, we have quality of life trials on our list. Quality of life trials assess the impact of a disease on patients' health and well-being. These studies help understand the broader aspects of medical conditions and treatments on daily life. Last on our list are real-world evidence studies. A real-world evidence study takes place after the treatment has been approved. They monitor long-term effects and gather additional data on the treatment's effectiveness and safety in the general population. Now that we have covered the types of clinical trials, let's talk a little bit more about clinical trial phases. What is a clinical trial phase? Clinical trials are conducted in a series of steps that are called phases. Each phase has a different purpose and helps researchers answer different questions. Clinical trials are usually conducted in 4 phases. Let's talk a little bit more about phase 1. Phase 1 trials are the first step in testing a medicine or a treatment in humans. They typically involve a small group of healthy volunteers and focus on safety, dosing, and side effects. Researchers aim to determine the treatment's pharmacokinetics, and pharmacokinetics is how body absorbs, dissolves, metabolizes, and excretes this medication. Next up, phase 2 clinical trials. In phase 2, the trial expands to a larger group of participants, usually those with the condition that the treatment aims to address. The focus shifts to evaluate the efficacy as well as the safety of this new drug or treatment. This phase helps researchers determine if the drug or treatment is working as intended. Phase 3 trials involve even larger populations and are designed to confirm treatment's effectiveness, monitor side effects, and compare it to a standard or a placebo treatment. This phase provides the most comprehensive data before seeking regulatory approvals. Lastly, phase 4 or real-world evidence studies, which we talked about a little bit earlier. Phase 4 trials occur after the treatment has been approved. Researchers will continue to study the long-term effects of this treatment. This phase will continuously evaluate the benefits and is crucial for ongoing safety monitoring. Let us summarize the key takeaways from today's video. Clinical trial design. A clinical trial starts with a clear objective and hypothesis and is followed by choosing a suitable study design. Participant selection involves designing inclusion and exclusion criteria to ensure valid results are generated. Sample size and randomization. Sample size is critical for statistical validity, and randomization helps eliminate bias. Data collection and analysis utilizes surveys and tests to gather data. This is followed by statistical analysis to evaluate treatment effectiveness. We spoke about a few different types of clinical trials on this episode. Starting with interventional trials, they are designed to test new treatments. Observational trials are designed to observe without intervening. Prevention trials focus on disease prevention. Diagnostic trials improve diagnostic methods. Quality of life trials assess patients' well-being, and real-world evidence studies monitor long-term effects. We also discussed about the phases of clinical trials. Phase 1 trials evaluate safety and tolerability. Phase 2 trials evaluate efficacy and safety. Phase 3 trials confirm effectiveness, and Phase 4 trial gather real-world data to evaluate ongoing safety. Understanding all these elements is crucial for anyone interested in the development of new treatments. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up. It helps us reach more people who are interested in clinical research. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Keen on Clinical, for more exciting content. If you have any questions or if there are topics you'd like us to cover in the upcoming videos, leave a comment in the comment box below. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, every new treatment starts with rigorous research and testing. Your curiosity and passion can make a difference in the world of medical research. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.